Welcome to the ITM Podcast.
This is episode 335 of the ITM Podcast, the official Boston Red Sox podcast of 2025. My name is Joey Copponi, that's Scott Neville, and the Boston Red Sox have made all sorts of headlines, like, and not to mention that too. Scott, how you doing?
It's been a busy week to be a Red Sox podcaster, let me tell you. There was so, I don't even know where to start.
Nobody does. Well,
I'll tell you
the
what.
thing is, you got to think about, the current events, right? You got to think about the news. You got to think about the latest developments, reports, rumors, trades, signings, all that sorts of stuff.
Here's a huge one that sent ripples across.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Kelly retired. That's probably the biggest thing that happened this week. No, he didn't. Actually, he specifically bleep that. He ended his playing career. Bleep that. Yeah, he ended his playing career. He doesn't like to use that word, the R word. He doesn't like to use a hard R word.
Good for him. It's 2026 almost. By the time you're hearing this, is probably 2026. Yeah, retire that word. Am I right?
For athletes.
Yeah.
His whole thing was we just stopped playing a game. We didn't, work till we were 65.
Oh,
so yeah,
so
definitely.
He's save that word for like the HVAC guy.
Yeah, like that guy, and you don't have to bleep this one. That guy can retire.
That guy's retired.
Joe Kelly just stopped. He ended his playing career. That's what he wants you to say. Wow. He said, my grandfather retired. My grandmother retired. I didn't bleep that one.
Okay. Listen, I'm definitely going to put the time in to go through this piece by piece and decide which retires to bleep and which ones not to. Also this week, Stephon Diggs got arrested. How about that? That's kind of Red Sox adjacent because Cardi B, she's a big Sox fan.
Oh my God. She's on Twitter under the name Red Sox Stats. And she's always out and about. Yeah. That one was tough. And his brother got released today too. So a tough one for the Diggs family.
Oh my God. Tough day for the Diggs family. Because we covered all the news already, I was thinking that today, there are some rumors and whatever that we'll get to and let's talk about it. But I was thinking for today, we do a little look back at some of the best moments of 2025. Not just from a Red Sox perspective, but maybe from an ITM perspective. Some of the biggest moments.
We didn't have any.
Yeah, we did. We had moments. Things happen all the time, man.
We recorded 1 to 2 times a week for sure. But I don't remember any of them.
We had David Ortiz, Alex Bregman, other people, I think. We had all sorts of people on. We did all sorts of stuff this year.
Yeah. No, I guess. I've just been drunk the whole time. I can't do this sober anymore.
No, I know. We can all tell.
Yep.
Dude, so I was going back and looking at what our first couple episodes of 2025 were. Like, what were we talking about? And I figured we're probably talking about Bregman and Arenado and stuff. The first episode of 2025 was the Frozen Fenway Frenzy Fan Festival at Fenway. Whoever wrote these descriptions is really good. The episode description says, the world famous first annual Frozen Fenway Fan Festival Frenzy for fans at Fenway is this weekend. Come on down for all the festivities, such as a press conference and being outside, plus opportunities to buy season tickets. All that and much more. I got asked this week if I was going to go to the Frozen Fenway Fan Festival, the second annual Frozen Fenway Fan Festival for fans of Fenway. No. The short answer is no. The long answer is obviously not, dude. Is it happening again? I haven't even seen any advertisements.
January 10th at 9 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Shut up. 9 a.m.
So much time. That's a lot of time for the fan festivity festival.
It's a 9-hour shift for the Fenway Fan Fest.
Is it tough?
January 10th?
Yep.
Oh,
I'll be here. I'll be here. I'm around.
That's the day Recycled Percussion is playing the Palace Theater in Manchester. I don't know if I'm going to make it.
What time, though? I feel like you could do both.
Oh, yeah, well, I wouldn't want to go for
is it like
a
day
than
thing?
A full 9 hours.
No, I don't think you would have to leave early. Do they play? They play at night, I presume. The who? Who was it again? The recycling team?
Yeah, the
recyclable.
Team.
Yeah.
What time? The recycling team is playing that date. Oh man, I just don't think
you might miss the opener. Well, you might miss the opener, but I think you could do both.
Oh man, it really sucks because I really wanted to go too.
No, I think sounds like you could.
What would you even do? I legitimately cannot believe that they didn't scrap this after 1 year. It's outside in Boston in January.
It's outside and inside. Some of it's in the MGM.
Yeah, but you have to walk far outside.
For sure.
To even get there.
Yeah. Oh, of course. But some of it's inside, so I don't want to hear that slander. You're not going to be able to avoid being outside it's a winter jacket occasion. Don't get me wrong. But
it's not even a winter jacket occasion. It's like a Under Armour occasion. You better be wearing long johns.
The Tom Brady scuba suit's in play for sure, depending on the weather.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, after all they did this offseason, you really got to. I mean, this is how they pay for all the big free agent additions they just made.
Exactly. You got to give back. Hey, don't be an ungrateful fan. You got to give back.
Right.
Give back to your owners. And
I bet Alex Cora has to be there.
It's only $94 to get in?
I'm sure I know it's reasonable.
It's got to be reasonable.
The one thing I know the Red Sox don't do is they don't gouge fan base.
Why would they do that? Why would they want to
affordable
upset their own
price?
fans?
General public.
Yep.
An unexpected error has occurred. That's unbelievable.
Oh, crap. Well, yeah, I mean, their site's probably flooded right now, dude. It's December 30th.
Oh, I got it. If you click to buy, it doesn't necessarily work, but I do have ticket information under. How much do you think it would be for an adult?
$90.
So insanely close, but they're even nicer than that. It's $85.
Wow.
But for children ages 3 to 14, it's only $35. So that actually, I mean, that's still incredibly expensive for a 14-year-old.
Send your kids.
Yeah, just send your kids.
Send them alone. They'll have send your 3-year-old and your 14-year-old. Spend $70. Have a good time. They'll have a great time outside. If anybody's bringing a 3-year-old to stand outside in Boston in January for 9 hours, they should have CPS waiting at Fenway Park. What an unbelievable event. I honestly can't believe that they're running this back a second time, because you would think that the first time went poorly enough that they're like, oh, no way. And it's just the same situation. They're running it back without any major signings. If anything, they're a worse ball club than they were this time last year. So I have no idea.
There's an argument to be made that Sonny Gray is slightly better than Lucas Giolito, and Wilson Contreras is slightly worse than Alex Bregman, and they've kind of evened out with better depth.
Alex Bregman by this time last year. But who they did have this time last year was Rafael Devers.
That's a good counter. That's a good counter, Joey. You got me on that one. That's a good counter.
I kept my receipts, dude.
him.
A lot of people have forgotten that Rafael Devers was traded. I haven't. I might be the only one. I remember. They've traded a couple of guys in the past few years that I'm not too pleased about. And he is near the top of the list. I say near because he's not number one. But yeah, I know they certainly did. They haven't done anything this year. I think they're probably on paper a worse ball club than they were this time last year. So they're going to be hearing it again, dude. It's going to be boozed. It's going to be the same thing. If anything, I think the fan base is probably more riled up now than before because you teased us. Yeah, exactly. You got a taste of the good life for a sec. You got a bite of caviar, and now you're back to eating pig shit. And it's like, whoa. I know that I don't have to be eating this pig shit anymore because we were waiting for the damn future. And now Roman Anthony's here, and Marcelo Meyer's here, and Christian Campbell's not as good as we thought. Cough, cough. So the future's here. So what's the fucking excuse now, right? Now there's nothing, right? And you paid for Alex Bregman last year, just bring him back, right? And you saved all that money trading Rafael Devers, so spend the money. So yeah, fans should be pissed. They should get booed again.
They added payroll just because they didn't spend in free agency, Joey. They added a 36-year-old who is incredibly expensive and a 34-year-old on a reasonable deal. It's not Lucas Giolito money, but it's damn close.
I mean, they got money in the Contreras trade.
Oh, so. Yeah. Well, $8 million, $4 million a year, and they gave up their 8th best prospect to make that happen.
This might be the year that they are expecting that pushback the least. Because like 2022, yeah, you're expecting the pushback. I'm saying after 2022, you're definitely expecting it. After 23, you're definitely expecting it. After 24, you're definitely expecting it. But now, I mean, they just made it back to the postseason. Roman Anthony's up here. They spent a little bit last year. I think that they might be more oblivious now to how the fans are feeling because they're big mad. I don't think they're going to see it coming.
I don't know. So here's the thing with an event like this. I think the people that are on Twitter every day are mad. But I also think they know that this team is better than it has been in years past. And so there isn't as much just like pure angst. And I think the common fan is still under the impression that we're on the rise and doesn't even probably know the problems that are arising right now. So I don't know. I think they'll get away with it a little bit. I do. I really do think they get away with it a little bit more than you want. Now, I'm not saying the PR that day is going to be good, but I don't think it's going to be as frustrated as you'd like people to be.
But who goes to those events? It's the people who give a shit. Like, who's going to drive out to be outside in Boston in January? Like, it is the super fan. It is the people who know that Bregman isn't like that the Bregman negotiations aren't getting any traction, and it's the informed fan.
Yeah, I just think I'm thinking, I guess, more of like the Twitter impact. Like usually every quote just gets smoked. And I think this year, like, that's going to happen with like the real evaluators, but it's not going to have as many comments under it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Can I tell you what else we were talking about around this time last year?
Hit me.
In January, we had an episode called "Waiting for Vladdy?" ? Are the Red Sox apprehensive to spend this offseason because of their interest in Vladimir Guerrero Jr. next year? Will Arenado end up in Boston? Will anybody ever make a formal offer to Alex Bregman? That's crazy. That's crazy. That around this time, or at the beginning of 2025, we were talking about reports that were out there. We weren't just making this up. There were reports out there that the Red Sox might be apprehensive to spend last year because they were waiting for Vladdy this offseason, which now feels like an absolute fever dream that was ever going to happen. But that's really where we were this calendar year. That's bananas to me.
Yeah, there was real smoke about it. And a huge part of that was, the Devers fit ? Could they actually trade Devers? All that stuff. That was a huge part of that cycle. It came obviously mostly later when all the spring training stuff happened. But there was a lot of talk about swapping those two bats out, which is Yeah, pretty insane, especially when you think about it. I mean, obviously, it turned out to not be true. But if there was ever even a thought about holding out for a future year when you have no idea what's going to happen, can you imagine if they did that and then Vladdy re-signs when he does, and it's like, oh shit, I forgot they could do that. Hold on, wait.
Yeah. I mean, nobody expected that to happen. I think we all expected Vladdy to test free agency. I mean, why wouldn't you? I guess you get $500 million and you say, sure, but
yeah,
I
that's
don't
probably
think
why he
anybody's
didn't
gonna
do
do
it.
Probably exactly why, yeah.
I think that's probably, at least I think that's a factor. I think that was one of the reasons why he did it.
The money.
He got, yeah, what was it, 400,
500.
500 million. What did he get?
500.
Let's see.
500.
He couldn't have been that on Vladdy's junior contract.
It was 500.
It was 500. It was 500, Joey.
I know it was 500.
Why didn't you just say that?
You got $500 million. You got $500 million. Yeah. Just handed right to him. Well, not exactly.
Well, no.
Isn't it funny that they get like bi-weekly paychecks? Isn't that funny? I don't know why. It is still in my 30s. I look at that. I'm like, somebody writes Shohei Ohtani's like
payroll stubs.
Yeah, he gets a paycheck. Does he get it direct? Does he get it in the mail?
I assume it's direct deposit at this point in time. I'd assume.
It's just crazy. I don't know. It's very weird. I think that's funny. But yeah, I mean, it's nuts to think that the Red Sox were reportedly doing that. Also, just the idea of them spending anything close to that wasn't going to happen either. Like, let's say Vladdy did go to free agency and negotiations started around 450. I think the Sox are immediately like, whoa, a little rich for my taste. No, thank you. So it wouldn't have gone anywhere. It would have been an absolute nightmare. So thank God that report wasn't true. So that was January of 25. We're trugging right along here. Only 20 minutes into the show, into February, in which February 13th, we put out an episode called Bregman to Boston, which is when Bregman got signed to the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, very on the nose of us.
Yeah, we nailed that title. Whoever did that nailed it.
Yep.
And then February 20th, the very next episode, the very next week, was titled I Play Third. I did not remember just how fast that saga kicked off. Bregman got here. They asked Devers, what are you doing? And he was like, I play fucking third. That's the end of this conversation. Ownership can kiss my ass. I play third. I didn't remember that happening all too quickly. I'm pretty sure it was before Bregman even got to Fort Myers.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Off the just top of my head, off of vibes, I didn't feel like it took that long. Like I knew he was later, but if you asked me what day did Bregman sign, I would have probably said I don't know, January 3rd. Like I did not realize it was that late into the offseason. Like I knew it was late. I didn't realize it was quite that late.
Spring training had started.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I knew that at the time, but looking back on it, I remember waiting for him, but there was a long time where I think there was a good amount of time where it felt like, the Red Sox had a real good shot of being the team. It felt very, JD Martinez where it was like, we're doing a holdout thing right now, but I feel like we got him. And so I guess I don't know, maybe I was overly confident in that time, but yeah, that's crazy how quickly things went downhill. It was like you had it's kind of like the Roman Anthony Devers thing, how they played 7 games together, where it's like you had peace for 3 days, 4 days, and then everything just went completely downhill. The Red Sox have had these intersections where it's like, we really have something now, and then they lose one of those things.
The whole timeline of that saga was, I don't want to say fun to relive. It was interesting to look at again. As I was going through it and putting together dates, I was like, there's no way this happened the way it did. It's one of those, in retrospect, this all makes sense how things went down. But I had to remind myself of this, that as we get into March here, and spring training started, like just the spring training games started, Rafi wasn't playing. Do you remember that?
Yeah, for weeks, like a long time.
And Bregman was playing third in those games, and we were still denying it. We were still like, no, he's probably going to move over to second at some point, right? They'll put him over at second.
What I remember so vividly about that was, and this is a weird connection to make, but a lot of the outlets I work for, a lot of the content we produce, not just here, but the written stuff, we talk a lot about trades and free agent moves, and we talk about it because fans really enjoy that type of content. And I remember, when you work with these outlets, these big time outlets, and you throw out a proposal, there's a lot of pushback internally and externally of like, okay, like, why are we just talking in fairyland? And one of the big moving points for me, like having kind of like defense in that, campaign, was when Luka got traded to the Lakers. And it made me be like, because at that time I had a lot of basketball stuff on it popping, and it was like we were doing stuff about LeBron James getting traded with his son and all this like crazy stuff, and it was like, hey, if that can happen, anything can happen. And then I was kind of using that defense when we were, we had a lot of trade rumors out there, and even though me and you were in denial about it personally, I felt like it warranted the discussion of at least writing the article about it. And, I did a lot of that stuff. We did, Vladdy for Devers swaps, all these crazy ideas. And then Devers actually got moved, and it just makes you think, like, this was around the time for me where I was like, you really can have fun with this sports media stuff, because it truly, you have no idea. And every time, there was an 11-year deal that was signed, and it's like, that doesn't matter at all. And it happens with all of these things. And you could talk about the craziest stuff, and it really can happen.
And more crazy things happened as March went along, because again, this is a perfect example of like, in the moment this felt like the right decision, and now looking back, it's absolutely crazy that this was our reality. March comes to a close, spring training comes to an end, Christian Campbell makes the major league roster and is the only one of the big three who does. And that's also
after
when
Meyer raked in spring training and Christian Campbell struggled mightily. Meyer was hitting like 300 and something, and Christian Campbell did not look like a big leaguer when camp broke.
And there was talk about like, oh, well, he'll be right up. He'll be right up behind him. And then you and we predicted correctly. We were like, they're probably not going to call him up until like June. And
we said it two different ways and nailed. We said it two different ways and nailed both of them.
Yeah, both of our predictions came true, and they weren't the same. That is 100% accurate. But yeah, I mean, our season predictions were pretty much. I mean, they were all obviously Rafi centric because he's best player on the team. You assume he's going to lead the team.
And for
in a lot
you,
of things, but
you talked a ton about how great Walker Buehler was going to be better than Crochet. You thought Walker Buehler was going to be better than Crochet, so that was.
I don't think anyone ever said that one. I don't think anyone ever said that.
Well, we're doing a look back, so feel free to look back, boys and girls.
I would look back if it said that. It doesn't say that anywhere here.
I think we could find it.
As the season started, I mean, so this is also following all this. Once Rafi finally starts getting playing and the season starts, the 0 for 20 with 19 strikeouts is how this year started.
Oh my God. I totally forgot about that. That's
also this year. That's also this year. If that feels like forever ago, that feels like a storyline of a season that didn't matter. That feels like something that happened in the middle of like 22. And you're like, yeah, I mean, whatever. Who cares? But what happened then? That was this season. That was this season that Rafi started with the worst start anyone's ever had since Lou Gehrig or something. And then just turned it around and had like a 950 OPS through the first 6 weeks, even after going for his first, I think it was like 21, 22. It was a lot.
It was something like that. And the strikeouts were crazy. Like 18, 19, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Also, at this time, right at the beginning of the year, the Crochet and Christian Campbell extensions, those came out in the same weekend in early April, the first weekend of April. Crochet. Yeah, I could have sworn that happened in the offseason. I could have sworn that happened.
I didn't.
Spring training.
I thought Crochet happened later. I thought I would have guessed June. So I'm
really.
Yeah, I don't know. All of this thing, it's so funny to relive these. Every time you say something, I'm like, yeah, that was crazy. This was the wildest start to a year. Like everyone said it, but if that Netflix documentary just got delayed a year,
I know,
would have been the best show.
It's still so true. It's still so true. Because this was the drama year. And one of the biggest storylines of the year would have been going into May is when Tristan Cassis gets hurt. That's also earlier than I thought. You were there?
Yeah.
People crying?
Well, he was.
Yeah, but I mean, like the general population, Gen Pop.
There was like the second it happened, it was like, ooh, this is not normal. Like right away, it was like, this one looks bad. What was funny was that funny might not be the right word in this context, but if you watch the video, like the way he got hurt, it doesn't look like a typical like bad non-contact injury. But they got the card out for him. It was like, it was a real like 15-minute delay of like this guy's dead.
Yeah. No, I mean it was pretty obvious after
he knew
one replay that it was like, oh, this is potentially career altering injury.
He knew it right away. That was the thing that like I didn't think it looked that bad, but he certainly, felt a pop and knew there were some problems.
Much like the Roman Devers 7-game overlay.
Mm-hmm.
From the Cassis injury to Meyer being called up was also 3 weeks.
Wow.
Another piece of time that feels incorrect. But yeah, Meyer comes up the end of May, and then Roman comes up around June 10th, June 11th. And then Devers is dealt the following week on June 16th. 15th? 16th.
Crazy.
Absolutely crazy.
Father's Day. It definitely was Father's Day. That's what I remember.
Yeah. On the plane. Was on the plane.
Mm.
And it's nuts here. I mean, this is like the halfway point of the season. And like you look at like the storylines that have gotten here is like, it's a roller coaster. It's Devers. We got Alex Bregman. Devers isn't playing. Devers is back, but he can't touch the baseball. We're extending Crochet and Campbell, and
Devers heating up.
Cassis is out for the year.
Well, there was a point though. We had Campbell extended. He was rookie of the month. Crochet's extended. Devers has figured it out. There's no seemingly from the outside there aren't locker room issues. That was wrong. And then we go down again.
I forgot to say too, immediately after the Cassis injury is when Rafi started that had like the Kansas City thing where John Henry had to fly out there and sit him down. Yeah, that's when he said like they're like, let the GM do your job, I'll do mine kind of thing.
Yeah, that was crazy. And then I mean, I think one thing about the actual trade that was insane, like people forget the reactions of the players was so telling because they were just like clearly fed up and not, they weren't acting like this was the worst thing that could happen to this franchise because the fans were obviously destroyed. But there was the Duran comment where it was just like, hey, like we just got to play with the guys we have. Like, like very unbothered. There was a few players that were clearly rather unbothered by the trade and maybe even a little bit relieved, felt a little more comfortable walking it every day. And then they started winning a lot more.
Yeah, they did. And they started smearing Devers too really quickly. And they played them immediately too. They immediately went out to San Francisco.
Oh my God, that was so strange too. The first weekend after. So much cool stuff. Yeah.
And then we left CLNS.
Yep. During all of that, was it? When did was the first episode the Devers thing, or was that right after? It was right around that. I know.
No, so June 16th we put out Devers dealt, and then July 3rd was our first indie ep.
Got it. Yeah, that changed a lot.
Yeah,
for this show.
Because while the Red Sox were in the news a ton, and while they were winning, which is a great time to move on from baseball, neither here nor there. That might be one of the highlights of 2025.
Yeah, I think, it forced us to kind of. I didn't force us. We weren't actually pushed off the platform, but like we like decided to leave, and that was when we played out the year, kind of figured out what we wanted to do, and that led to a lot more decisions where, again, I don't want to get way ahead of it, but it led us to a point where we almost quit and then came back a lot stronger.
Yeah. Much like the Sox right at that time, because immediately after that, like we leave Seal, not that this has an impact. When we're leaving CLNS is when they went on that 10-game win streak or 11-game win streak going into the break. They met with the president, and then that did what it did, and they just couldn't stop. Those are two things that happened in succession, followed by a nothing trade deadline. And making the playoffs, and the season just kind of mercifully ending. Yep.
In that win streak, we did have a conversation that was created by other people, which was, is Rafaela Mookie Betts? That's another thing you might want to remember. That was a real debate that was had, not only on this show, but sparked by other people. But I had a moment where I said, look, I absolutely know this isn't true, but also, like, what if it is? That's how good he was. It sounds so silly, but here
I can put myself in the mental place to be like, I think I do remember that feeling. I think I do remember seeing Ceddanne Rafaela and thinking, God, man.
I mean,
could he be something like?
There was a real extended period of time where he was hitting 400 and playing platinum defense.
Yeah.
By extended period, I'm talking a matter of weeks. But it was like this. He moved up in the lineup. Like they were like, okay, this is our guy. Like that during that streak, he obviously had the big walk-off moment to keep the streak alive. I believe at 9 games. But yeah, that was an interesting little section of the year where the team was humming and it looked like he was an MVP.
It's just weird because like the second half of the season, the main storyline was just like, can this team do something? Are they good enough to do something? Because the first was, drama in the first half. And then once they came back from the break, it was just kind of like, all right, here we go. Peyton Toley's here. He could be a guy. Rafaela's hot. Will he maintain this? Who's going to be a part of the playoff rotation? We'll have to see. Alex Bregman,
Why does Alex Cora hate Kyle Harrison so much?
Yeah, that happened. And then it just kind of ended. I mean, when you look back at how the year ended. Jordan Hicks.
That was a storyline.
That happened. I forgot. I imagine in my head they just gave Devers away. They just gave Devers away.
No, it was way worse than that. They unfortunately got players back, which became Dustin May and Jordan Hicks.
Yeah. And no, and Kyle Harrison.
Yeah, and another guy named Bayo, but not Bayo, a different Bayo.
Was this the Bayo trade?
This was a Bayo trade, yeah.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing?
Could it be?
I hope not.
This winter, dude, this offseason coming to the end of 2025.
Mostly just chilled.
There's not much. Yeah, there's not much. Well, summarize this offseason thus far in 6 words, no more or less.
We traded for old players.
Mm.
Can I rephrase?
Yeah.
We traded for solid old players. I'd maybe even say good. No, that was that made the list. That was 6. Yeah.
That's good. I would say it has been colder outside, dude.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems to happen every time we get to this time of year.
Dude, whenever baseball stops, it gets cold out. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, something to keep an eye on, folks. Keep that weather app handy. If you don't have it, go to the app store.
They don't have a game
It's called
today.
Weather. Oh my God, can you imagine?
It's 24 degrees right now. Chilly.
In this, it's 21 where I'm at, dude.
Well, you live in a fake place in the woods.
No, it's a real place. No woods, real place, real city, big city. It's a municipality.
A lot of homeless people.
As there is in every major city, which is what Manchester is. It's a major city.
It's one of the bigger ones in New Hampshire.
It's the biggest one in New Hampshire. We got a guitar center, dude. You think they put those in minor cities? They got one in Miami. They got one in Boston. They got one in Manchester. I'm sure other places. So
that's the part, yeah.
And Wilson Contreras, and that's kind of it. Now we're all caught up. I forget about Wilson Contreras sometimes because the trade market just feels foreign to me. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll check that out when we're looking at the roster come springtime. But like, I need a pass and breaking tweet. I need to know that something happened. I don't even know if I need it to be Red Sox related because like I got noties on for all these guys and it's them just like, I don't know. Today you're getting notifications about like Anthony Rendon restructuring his contract and it's like, who could possibly care? That's rage bait. And I saw John Heyman tweet yesterday. He's like, "Oh, I'm on the fucking MLB network at 3." That's how he said it. I'm on the fucking MLB network at 3 or whatever. And he said in the tweet, in the promotional "I'm going to be on TV" tweet, said slow market.
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, dude, that's you kind of got it. We're at a point where you got to say that. Like, we're going into the new year, and like once Pete Alonso signed, it was like that's kind of it.
I will say, between this episode and the next one, 2 impact free agents have to sign. You got
Okamoto and the other guy.
Imai.
Yeah.
The pitcher, January 2nd. The hitter, January 4th. So you're going to get movement on both sides of the ball very soon. I'm not saying that's going to, kickstart the second wave of the offseason, but it is going to be a factor in the sense of, like the Red Sox. We talked about this. We have to decide the Red Sox have to decide, to go with. They're about to lose Plan B. So are they going to keep going for Bregman and then have to pivot to C? Or what the deal is. Also, we're making up that's Plan B, but you know what I mean. Like that takes a backup option off the board.
Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I had to dig today for this one. This one took longer than normal, but I came up with some semi-interesting stuff. I will say it's getting a little repetitive, but what are you supposed to do? The only thing we could do is we could either get repetitive or we could talk about stuff that's not going to happen. Like we could talk about, should the Red Sox get guys that just aren't fits, Framber Valdez or something stupid. But let's stick with what we got.
Yeah, I would much rather just talk about the reports that are out there, even if they're kind of nothing reports, than sit here and be like, let's try to build a pretend trade package of Jarren Duran and Peyton Tolley, or the other way around and be like, could they, how could they acquire Tarek Skubal? And it's like, I would rather just talk about what's out there. So Robert Murray wrote on Monday, quote, the Jays have been connected to Bregman, Kyle Tucker, and Bo Bichette this offseason. Bichette should be the priority. He's younger, and Toronto knows what it has in its star infielder, and it's very likely that Bregman is the fallback if they aren't able to retain Bichette. Still, Toronto is big game hunting, and this feels like the offseason they land a big name in free agency, end quote. I'm not sure I feel the same way. They are better than they were when the season started, and I think that remains true whether or not they bring Bichette back. If they pursue Bregman, pack it in. It's over. Pack it in. The season's over. I understand that there's like some oddly mixed feelings on bringing him back here now based off the deal that he wants, which I think is I don't agree with you people whatsoever. But Bregman going in division and the Orioles getting better and the Jays getting better and the Yankees, whatever, they can sign Trent Grisham. So, I mean, who knows? That sucks. And you're going to be looking at a very, very different division if Bregman signs in the AL East.
It's crazy because like the only way it could be a minimal impact, but it still would be crazy, is if the Red Sox signed Bo Bichette, which led the Blue Jays to pivot to Alex Bregman. And in 2026, I still would lean Bregman probably. Yeah. You know, I think it's just one of those fit things where he's just so perfect here. That would be still massively impactful to both franchises in a crazy, switch up. But at least from like a roster war perspective would be the only way it would be like kind of evening out. But yeah, if it's Bichette goes to the, I don't know, probably the Dodgers or whatever, but just throw them in there. And then Bregman goes to the Blue Jays, like that is game over for the Red Sox in just the most frustrating way possible. So that's kind of insane. They also, Murray also noted, he called the Diamondbacks long shots. I think the only way, he basically said that the only way that this could happen is if Marte gets moved. Again, if you think, if Marte gets moved, it's probably to the Red Sox. So, whatever. But, he basically said they can't afford Bregman and Marte, so they'd have to trade Marte before going after Bregman. But should, one of those earlier rumors, he goes to the Mariners or the Giants or whatever, that gets scary. And then he put the Cubs, he viewed them as sleeping giants, which is basically just, they can get him if they want to. They absolutely should be in on him. He's skeptical that they would do it, but they lost Kyle Tucker and they needed, an impact. They need a star in the middle of their lineup. So, I think with the Cubs, there's been a little bit of smoke. There hasn't really been like a lot heating up, but just from like a fit perspective, it makes a lot of sense.
I will say this. Let me get bold here. Actually, this isn't that bold. I've kind of been here this whole time. I put the odds of the Red Sox getting Bo Bichette between 10 and 15%. If not, 10 to 15%. It just feels so unlikely to me. So that reality where like, it could even out, if the Sox sign Bichette and the Blue Jays get Bregman, that reality to me feels so far off. I think the biggest problem with that theory is that you expect Bichette to go before Bregman. Maybe that's, I don't know if that's like a dumb, just random take, but I feel like, Bichette would have to, Bregman would have to sign before Bichette for that to be a possibility. If Bregman goes somewhere else, I think Bichette's smoke gets real. The only other thing that I would say that would be in favor of Bo coming to Boston is just that if they've made one thing clear in Boston, it's that they like youth. And so the youngest player, they're going to be way more willing to give those years to. If it really is the case where Bregman is able to get 5-6 years, they might prefer, if they're being boxed into 5 to 6 years, they may end up leaning Bichette over
Bregman. I think it's pretty clear that if they're talking about the next year or two, they very much prefer Bregman. But if you have to give a long-term deal to one of those guys, they seem to value youth immensely. Obviously, that's a logical opinion. So that's the only thing I could see. Those are the only 2 points where I feel like you can lean. If you had to make the case for Bo, those were the 2 things you would say.
I just don't think he fits their profile, despite the age. He has the age. He has that box checked. I just don't think the player profile fits what they value or what they just need for this roster. I would have a hard time picturing it. If the Blue Jays do pivot to Alex Bregman, pack it in. We'll see you in 2027. Alex Spear wrote on Saturday, quote, "This is going to come as a shock to you guys." Hold on. This is not the quote. This is going to come as a shock to you guys. "I hope y'all are sitting down because the Red Sox have 5 guys that they're targeting that are remaining their top priorities here."
These names they're gonna throw you for a loop. You haven't even heard of these guys. Some of these guys.
I want to just give a moment here because sometimes people listen while they're driving, right? Take your hands off the wait. No. Pull over, pull the car over, put the car in park, take your hands off of the wheel. We'll give
hazard
you 5
lights.
seconds.
Put your hazard lights on if you're on the highway.
Hazards. If you're walking somewhere, if you're like going to get a coffee, sit down. I don't care if you're on the sidewalk. It's January. You're in Boston. Sit down. Quote, "According to Major League sources, the team's primary targets remain fairly consistent. Free agent infielders Alex Bregman and Bo Bichette, as well as trade candidates Ketel Marte, Isaac Paredes, and Brendan Donovan." End quote. Holy shit. I mean, when you hear stuff like this, it just reminds you how lucky we are to be Boston Red Sox fans. That you can just be going through your winter, enjoying your hot cocoa, and then out of nowhere you go, holy shit. The Boston Red Sox are considering a couple guys, a couple of good guys, a couple of okay guys. Yep, Scott.
I know you get this a lot, but what you just did right there, it kind of reminds me, and I know you get this comp a lot, to our president Donald Trump, because there was a story one time.
Go
ahead. No, you get that a lot, and it's most of your views. But there was a story one time that Trump would refuse. He would only read half a page at a time when reading these important documents. And I'm starting to notice that when I break up a paragraph into 2 paragraphs, you will only read the first one out loud, and it doesn't really add a ton. But you did that twice in a row there, where you just read the top part, you read the first paragraph, and then you just stop.
Well, we're talking for a few minutes about it. So I'm like, all right, we'll read the first part, we'll talk about it for a minute, and then we'll read the second part, and we'll talk about it for a minute. I'll read the second part. Quote, "Aside from Marte, who is a switch hitter, all are right-handed. There are additional alternatives on both the trade and free agent markets, but to date, that group of 5 occupies the front burner pursuits." End quote. It just says the same thing again. It just says, by the way, they're all righties.
But that's,
there's other options, but that's kind of their guys.
That's why you say it in the front, because if we had done the convo and then you said that doesn't really add. It's not like a second point.
Well, then we could they do need a right-handed bat. You know who would have been a great right-handed bat? Pete fucking Alonso. You know what he would have cost you? A couple of dollars. You know where he went? Your division. I'm still so mad about it. And I understand we've moved on and there's other shit going on now, and we can focus on the bigger stories that are going on. And to dwell on the past versus looking at the future, it's not going to help anything. But I'm still upset that they didn't sign Pete Alonso. I'm still upset that Alex Bregman is still out there. I'm still upset that Rafael Devers got traded. I'm still upset they traded Mookie. I can still be upset about the past and use retrospect to be like, hey, the team would be better right now if you had Pete Alonso. Team would be better right now if you still had Rafael Devers. Team would just be better if you had the guys that you had, if you paid guys that you should have paid, and if you didn't trade guys that you should have kept paying.
So what I was going to do here is I was going to talk about Paredes, because that's the one guy of the 4 that we haven't really dove into. So real quick, last year, he hit 254, 36 extra base hits, including 50 in home runs, 53 RBIs, and an 809 OPS. It's a 123 OPS plus. He only played 102 games because he had a hamstring injury that required surgery. So he had a pretty bad one. So that pace puts you, he's a guy that has hit 31 home runs in his peak, and he's still young. So it's a, guy that he's a great, right-handed pull hitter for Fenway. Everybody loves that. And that's about it. He crushes the ball, and he's really solid hitter. Not more of a power guy than a, full contact. But he does have -3 outs above average at third base last year, which probably I would assume on a year, it probably would have been even worse, probably more like -5. And he's also just super slow, like 12th percentile speed. So he's somebody that really doesn't have any, they talk about 5 tools. He has power, and that's about all you're going to get. And so interesting, but not Bregman, that's for sure. He's not Bo Bichette. This is definitely, we're falling down the tiers, but maybe more of a fit for what this team needs over Brandon Donovan, just because he doesn't have a lot of pop and this team needs pop. So that's really the only thing I wanted to say about him. And I would say also, it's kind of crazy. We're again talking about there's a couple free agents, but we also have some trade candidates we like, which is crazy to me. They've traded so much of this system. These would at least be for younger guys, so it wouldn't just be dealing talented players for 34 or 36-year-olds. But, it is crazy that it's even a discussion that they could go back to the trade well. The only thing I will give them a little bit of credit for is something my friend Tim Burke pointed out to me. They've done a decent job of keeping the important chips. They haven't traded Meyer. They haven't traded Tolley. They haven't traded Early. Even Kyson Witherspoon is really exciting, who people aren't going to hear about now, but in a year.
That's tough to give the Red Sox credit for. That's really, really tough. They haven't traded their big young prospects. Yeah, I guess.
Clark and Fajardo are the two you could be mad at, especially because Fajardo could have actually both players may have been avoided if they just ate more salary. I understand what the Gray one, his contract was ridiculous. It was like $40 million a year for Sonny Gray. They had to do something there. Fajardo one was a little insane considering it was $4 million a year on a $250 million salary or year payroll.
Are you talking about just this offseason that they've done a good job of maintaining their young core?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was going to say, you can also add Priester in there, and you can keep going back through guys that they absolutely could have kept and haven't. But I don't know. Yeah, I guess they've kept their core young guys. They haven't traded Marcelo Meyer, but that would be insane. It's like saying at least they haven't burned Fenway to the ground. I'm not going to give them credit for not lighting the world on fire.
All I'm saying is of the people that were moved, Hunter Dobbins, I think, could be a 4 ERA guy in this league. Richard Fitz, I think, is very interesting. And there may be a Quinn Priester in there. I'm not saying that. They traded so many arms, there likely is. But there isn't of the people they did give up, it's not expected to really kill this franchise. Witherspoon's a guy that could, at this point in time, could be a frontline guy. They didn't trade those kind of guys. Early and Tolley have so much heal. You have no idea, but their ceiling is incredible. When you look at the people that are moved, it's hard to be destroyed by that. Even if one or two of them are bound to do well.
I think it would be insane if there was one of those guys in there because there isn't a return that necessitates that kind of move. So yeah, I could give them credit for that if they managed to get Joe Ryan here. And then you could be wow, they did that and they did it without blowing up the future. But to be wow, they got Sonny Gray and they didn't have to give up a top, 3 pitching prospect. It's I don't know how much I'm willing to pat them on the back for that when there's not a return that would ever necessitate that.
I think Contreras is better than you were giving him credit for. And I think Gray, I agree with. I didn't love the Gray move. Brandon Clark for Sonny Gray feels like an overpay to me. But the Contreras one, I think that's, he's a good player. And he's at least, he's going to be an impact bat for a couple of years. So, again, I prefer the youth movement. I'd rather you have traded all of those players in one deal for a 27-year-old that you could have extended long-term and gotten a core player. Or, to be fair, as much as I'm making this defense, They obviously should have just signed Alonso for money. It still pisses me off that they're making all these trades. I'm just saying, when you look at the top 10, it's not, shattered.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. I'm not patting them on the back. I just am agreeing with you. Yes, they have not blown up.
But also, just sign Alex Bregman. Make a move and don't lose anybody.
I don't give a shit. Sign them both.
Get Bregman, get Bichette, trade for Marte.
Yeah. Get them all.
We'll
you can do it. You can do it.
Worst case scenario, we overtrade and we win in Worcester and in the big leagues.
That's what we really need. We need
Paredes and the Woo Sox
back to Worcester.
Casas will be there. Batting third
for the next 7 years. People are saying.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Passan, you know him?
Yeah, personally.
That's right. Yeah, we do. I forgot that I know him.
I've been on a Zoom call with him. I watched him take a phone call from Fernando Tatis Jr. He said, "Hey, do you mind if I take this?" I said, "I'd prefer you do."
I also watched Mott's try to buy him a Pepsi. Or no, it was a beer. I think it was a beer.
No, it was definitely an alcoholic beverage.
And Jeff said no.
But with a look of like, who the hell are you?
Yeah,
I'm Jeff Passan.
You're not buying me shit. You think I need your charity?
And they call him a pussy, which was crazy.
He spit on his shoes, which is a move
you
don't really see in the real world, but he did it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He said, "You think I'm a peasant? Is this what you think I needed?" And he spit on his shoes and he got down and he buffed out his shoe. And he started shining his shoes and he says, is this what you think of me, sir? He did that to Motts. Anyway, Jeff Passan said on Threads on Thursday, quote, "The Red Sox believe Duran is worth a front of the rotation starter. At this point, no one has been willing to pay that." And I'm going to read the second paragraph too here. Considering the return the Rays got on Shane Baz, teams are going to be that much more emboldened to price starting pitchers very aggressively, even with the what the hell, Jeff? Paucity?
No, I got you. Ready? A paucity, it means a smaller, insufficient quantity, number, or amount of something. I knew that was going to come up.
Even with the paucity of good bats left beyond the very top of the free agent market.
Yeah, first of all, he's an asshole for saying that. He knows nobody knew what that meant, and he's just trying to show off.
Yeah. I feel that way every time Spear, he used to tweet #tarpaulin whenever they brought up the tarp. For like whenever it was raining. Tarpaulin, is that what it is? I didn't even know that was the word. I thought tarp was the word. And I had to Google it. And
you are not Alex Spear.
Never will be.
Not even close.
Anyway, the Sox want a frontline starter for Duran 1-for-1, which, Scott, as the years go along here, and we hear more and more that maybe teams don't love working with Craig Breslow. And then you hear stories like this, and you put the two stories together in your head, and you go, yeah, those puzzle pieces fit.
Maybe it's not a coincidence that Chaim Bloom and Craig Breslow really can only work together.
Yeah.
Because they don't do a lot outside. And even if you want to go back a little bit, like, we also acquired Tyler O'Neill from the Cardinals in the same ownership or front office, grouping there. And so, that is interesting. But I think I brought this up to say this is a good thing. Again, I'm a Jarren Duran truther. I think the team, call me crazy, I think people are going to get injured this year. And I think it's good to have depth. So I think this idea, I've even seen Jeff Passan say, which really pisses me off, is even he's like, well, there's just not enough playing time for everybody. I said, well, yeah, you know what? If all four guys make it 162 games, that's going to be a real juggling thing for Alice Cora to figure out. But I have a feeling at some point, one of these guys is going to get injured and it's not going to be for 3 days. It's going to be an IL stint. And then you're going to be like, oh, Thank God we have Jarren Duran. Anyway, my point is, hold on.
Yeah.
Shut your little mouth you little bastard.
It's just a little shut.
I don't know why I keep calling you little. You're significantly larger than me.
It's huge.
But I think this is a good thing because until they have that second bat, they really don't have the offense to even make a trade from their offense. And secondarily, I think you should keep Duran if you can get a Cole Reagans for him, cool, whatever. Like that's great. If you could get an ace for Jarren Duran, then fine. But if not, there's no need to trade this guy. So I like where they're standing. I hope they don't trade him, and if they do, if this is the price, I won't be complaining.
I will alter the take that I've had all winter because I'm a man who's not afraid to change with the times. Okay? I used to use the word I don't use that anymore. Okay? I've grown.
In certain circumstances, you're allowed to do it.
Thank you. And I get a pass, if you will.
Bleep that.
I was so pro trading Jarren Duran. And now, as they have not gotten Pete Alonso, they did not get Kyle Schwarber. Alex Bregman looks like a coin flip. And, the other offensive options get thin quick. It does become harder to justify taking away from the lineup. It does. Like, what?
Also, are we really still talking about starting pitcher acquisitions? Like, there's too many. Like, yeah, I guess, sure. I guess you could, again, not to make the same argument. I'm talking like we're 10 plus deep here. I'm not saying the same thing as having 4 outfielders. Like, what? It would have to be a Cole Reagans to justify what they're talking about, because otherwise, like, you don't have the options. Like, you can't just put like a established veteran down in Worcester. Like, it's, I don't know. I mean, I guess like you could start totally early in AAA, and that's definitely a good problem to have. I'm not saying, same reason I say the same thing about Durant. It's a good problem to have, but we have it would have to be. There's probably 20 pitchers that you could name that it would be a good move. It would make the Red Sox like, okay, that's a number 1 or 2 situation that you're adding with Crochet.
Yeah.
Because if we get another Sonny Gray,
like, depth is one thing, but you still have a hole near the top.
But like if they trade for like Nick Pivetta, it's like we have 5 of those. Like that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it has to be like this was specifically Cole Reagans. That works for me. But other than that,
it's not going to be a 1-for-1, and I don't know why. I mean, I know why, because Craig Breslow runs the Red Sox. That's why the package is a 1-for-1. That's not going to happen. But if there's a package that includes Jarren Duran that gets you a 2, and let's say the second piece, let's just say it's a prospect. Let's say it's 2 prospects. I'm still not sure that I'm 100% in on that anymore.
I agree. I agree with you. It has to be
it's thin.
Hunter Green.
Your lineup's thin.
Yeah, the offense would take a huge hit no matter what it is. Hunter Green would be like a sick option. There's some that are like, man, those are really intriguing. But overall, like, the offense has to score runs. And Hunter Green, even though he was talked about when he was 16 as the next two-way great, he's not hitting anymore. So that doesn't really help. If the plan is to trade for Hunter Green and have him start hitting, all right, let's have some fun, But other than that, your lineup is straight up. It's weak right now. It's not good. And trading Jarren Duran is not going to make that better. The one thing I will say is I do understand the starting pitching trades this offseason have been ridiculous. And so maybe you can throw out some stuff like that. But, I don't know. You need Duran. Like, it comes down to even if it's an ace level player, like, I would then say you need to make 2 moves. You need to get Bregman and in the lineup.
Yeah.
So just keep Duran. And it looks like they might now. What are the odds? All right, can I ask? All right, on December 30th, odds Jarren Duran is on the opening day roster.
61.
I think I'm finally comfortably over that 50% mark. There was a point in the off season where even though I was always rooting for it, I haven't changed my take on what I want to happen. I very much, earlier in the offseason, I thought it was a 5% chance he stayed. It'd be a miracle. Similar to how I felt like Yoshida had no chance once Bregman signed because it was like just too many bats that can't play defense, and he somehow survived via getting injured. Duran's kind of was in the same boat for me for a while. Now it's like I don't really see a path to trading him unless you have something crazy. You get some crazy package that you're not going to complain about. But it would. They need him right now. And even if you add Bregman, I still think you need him.
You also need the best version of him, which is the other conversation to have about Jarren Duran that we could, get lost in the weeds in right now. It's probably not the time to do it, but
still above average though. Even his last year's version. His you obviously want the 130 OPS. You want the all-star version, right? But like he's going to be 110 no matter what. It sucks that he can't play left because he's great in center, but then you have the Rafaela issue.
Yeah. It's just so weird that he can't play left.
It is. I will say, like, I understand the angles and the, like.
Yeah.
I don't know. He played more games last year than I played baseball my entire life, probably. So I don't know. I think he would adjust, but it is different. But you would think. I don't know. You don't see many players that are putting up 17 defensive runs saved in center field, and the next year they can't play left, and it has nothing to do with age.
It's strange, but I'm not a mathematician, so.
Not even close.
Never been one.
Not even close.
All right. Well, if that's all you got, that's all I got. You want to get out of here?
Dude, I can't believe how long this has lasted.
I know.
I didn't. Well, you came in with something I didn't know you had at all, which was a year review.
Yeah, it took a little bit.
I was thinking we had 3 topics, and I was like, we're going to be lucky to make it to 30 minutes. That's what I was worried about. So you came in big with that.
Yeah, I don't know. Just I get sentimental. Well, 2025 is coming to an end. So many great things happened this year.
We almost quit.
Well, I almost quit.
Mm-hmm.
I turned 30. My kid started going to school.
My Christmas party.
Your Christmas party happened.
Mm-hmm.
So many things happened.
I turned 26, which is, I'm still a long ways away from you.
Groundhog Day. Remember, we had a big Groundhog Day this year.
Oh, the biggest.
God, that was good.
You know what's crazy is like if you stop time.
It's time to empty your brain of thoughts with Joey and Scott. Empty your brain of thoughts with Joey and Scott. What do you got? It's time to empty your brain of thoughts with Joey and Scott.
That was a good one because I was about to give a long-winded. I was just gonna call you 30 in like 3 different ways. I was gonna say that if I went to high school, freshman through senior year, and you stop time would be the same age. That's how far away you are from me.
You can follow us on the socials at ITM_pod. You can follow us. Go sub on YouTube. Go over to the YouTube.
We haven't even talked about. You get a closing thought.
I do.
Probably. I was surprised that you haven't said this yet. I can go if you want, but I can't believe you haven't brought this up in an hour and 12-minute recording.
Zootopia 2 is in theaters now. If you guys want to get your tickets,
There it is.
you can go just to your local theater. You can just get them there. Or you can buy them online ahead of time if you want to reserve your seat and stuff.
Brian Serhant didn't like it.
I know he hated it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I thought you were gonna talk about, dude, Tristan Costas swinging a bat already. Take a BP.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that doesn't surprise me. Yeah, he's a car crash master.
He's recovering from a car crash, a couple of them. And now he said, who's playing first? Oh, my God, I gotta get swinging.
Yeah.
Worcester. They're talking about Worcester.
He'll be out there. Don't you worry, folks. He'll be out there. He'll be out there end of May.
I don't think opening day is out of the question.
Opening day's out of the question.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think he plays in a spring training game.
I think he should get a Medal of Honor if he does that.
Okay. I'm not opposed to that.
Speaking of knee injuries, this is way more relevant. I sprained my MCL.
How?
Yeah. Do you want to know?
Yeah.
I was wrapping a Christmas present.
Okay.
So I got up to go to the bathroom, and I had gotten a little hot, so I took my bathrobe off. So I went to the bathroom.
You're wearing a bathrobe, of course.
And I came back, and I was like, I don't want to finish wrapping the presents, but my bathrobe's on the ground, so I'll just pick up my bathrobe and go. And I squatted down to pick up my bathrobe, and felt a pop in my knee, and then I fell over, and I called a buddy of mine like an hour later because he had a knee injury. And I was like, dude, this is stupid. I'm going to run this by you. And I ran it by him, and he's like, that sounds like an MCL. And then I did some Googling, and I described where the pain was, and it was like, that's your MCL. So we're fighting over here. We're battling. Me and Tristan Cassis, I don't know if we're going to be ready for opening day.
I'll tell you, hey, credit to you. I didn't even know you were podcasting injured right now.
Yeah. Well, I don't like to talk about me, man. Everybody knows that. I don't like to talk about myself. So
I know, but it didn't even slow you down.
No, I just like to get out here. Listen, the job ain't finished.
You're still making plays. Yeah.
Job ain't finished. So I'll sleep when I'm dead. You can follow us on the socials at ITM_pod. You can follow me at Joey Copponi. You can follow him at Scott Neville 46. Please sub on the YouTube. That would mean so much to us. We'll be back next week to talk about where these Japanese phenoms have signed and where Alex Bregman is going to go. Sean McAdams says he doesn't believe it's going to go past the first week of January. So,
that should have been talked about. Okay.
Yeah,
that's kind of a little nugget at the end.
Yeah, a little nugget at the end. I think this might be our last Alex Bregman conversation ever before he goes to the Toronto Blue Jays. For Scott Neville, I'm Joey Copponi. Go Sox, kid.